The state not only encounters a deep sense of isolation, but state also encounters lack of political activity. Though a lot of things are happening, a lot of developments have taken place, a lot of people have spoken, Chief Minister has a number of meetings, he held a security meeting, but there are a couple of other important issues which I would like to bring to table. One is the issue of the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum. They differ from the Kuki Inpi Manipur group, because Kuki Inpi Manipur group had initially said that there should be a separate state under Article 3, whereas the Indigenous Tribal Leader Forum says that they are seeking a separate state or union territory if a state is not agreeable. So there is a divide within the Kuki groups. That's one. Secondly, Biren Singh has held a meeting. Please let us play out the tweet of Biren Singh first. This is what he had to say. That will be our second talking point of the conversation. We held a meeting with CS Security, senior police officers to review the matter. State government is taking possible measures to ensure normalcy returns to the state. So we are taking measures. So Chief Minister is reiterating that they are taking measures. And third is the appeal. Let me start with an appeal, because this appeal is to the top leadership of this country, that peace should be restored. A very warm welcome to all of you. Madam Meitei, your first comments on this beautiful, beautiful bite given out by this sportsperson. Your opening comments, what she had to say.
Yes, Kartike, thank you for your invite and for that bites which you have sown. I think that's a very good comment, and it's a very well thought of that you have played out that bites requesting the violence to end and peace to prevail. And I'm sure the same question would be in a lot of people's minds as well. So I must say you have got the pulse of a common man right. And firstly, before I answer your question, I must compliment you and your channel also for taking up the issue at hand in Manipur so well and giving it the seriousness it deserves. And I think at this juncture, the first priority of the nation should be to bring peace in a beautiful state like Manipur. It's a big challenge because both sides are adamant in the demand. And the Kukis demand a separate administrations, and the Meitei don't want the territorial integrity to break, and the Naga are yet to speak up on their stand. So you see, we have been neglected enough by all governments, irrespective of which government has been in power. And at the same time, we are proud Indians, and we should not be alienated like nothing is happening in Manipur. Our countrymen, our people are dying in Manipur every day, and all lives, irrespective of whichever caste, creed, religion, tribes, or community, matters. So peace must prevail in Manipur at the earliest. So the question now is, how will peace come? Or just by turning a blind eye towards the horrible violence which is going on? Or do we need to give a human touch?
Okay.
Be it a Meitei or a Kuki, every single lives matter. So many media channels don't want to cover us just because it may not give them the so-called TRPs, or maybe the government, the majority government is dominating the mainland media narratives so that the ground reality will tell us better. And it's very difficult for us to sit here and assess here in Delhi and what is going on in Manipur. So, I feel that as you have in the earlier, as you started, you have shown that the chief minister is trying to bring normalcy in the state. And it is also forming various committees, either it be from the armed forces or from other diverse stakeholders. So I feel that, there has to be a neutral agencies, which is neither a Kuki nor a Meitei, but who know and who understand Manipur very well. Like, for example, if I'm allowed, like journalists and then people who are really feeling for what is going on in the violence. They have been doing regular coverage and interviews of eminent personalities. Like, for example, like the army officer, Major Ali, he has been covering all the, aspects of what is going on in the.
Madam Meitei,
Yeah,
that.
I'm just giving an example of
Okay.
how neutral agencies can be taken up in this
No,
kind
I'm
of.
just
When
trying
we
to,
talk about
that's a
peace.
very good point. I'm just trying to organize this conversation into 3 points. The first point of the conversation is, Madam Guite, that one, when Chief Minister says and he puts out a photograph of police officers, doesn't it give a situation of a law and order issue? My point is Manipur is not a law and order issue. It requires, as the professor said long time ago, a short while ago, it requires some sort of a moral intervention. When you say ki police wale baithe hain, it looks like in law and order issue. That is the one point of conversation. Is it? The second point of conversation is that what is this development of one Kuki group saying that we want a separate state, another Kuki group saying that we want a separate state under Article 3, third one is saying that we want a union territory, fourth one is saying no, we want a separate administration. That's the second point of the conversation. And the third point of the conversation is that despite so much of appeal, central leadership is not talking about Manipur as much as it should have been doing. Why? So these are the 3 points you have opened up, you have spoken. Professor, tell me, my question to you is that when you, do you think that more needs to be done? Do you feel that less is being done? This law and order issue, it's like you're saying it's like Jammu and Kashmir, but Jammu and Kashmir, the administration is under attack. Here, no one is attacking the administration. There's a nuance to it. There are two communities against each other. Professor.
True. See,
let me get the professor on it, then I'll come back to you.
Okay,
yes,
sorry. Yeah.
The point here is that, the fighting sides, they are not able to sit together. So the most important thing is that actors available on the ground have to be brought together. And this requires an interlocutor. No military, paramilitary, or police can bring the two sides together at this point of time. That's very, very important, how you bring the two sides together. In order to do that, a strong moral communication needs to be evolved. And in order to evolve that, you need some groundwork, you need some track 2 activity. The track 2 activity that was carried out by civil society couldn't really bring the groups together, nor it could contain the flow of events, unfortunate events that have been repeatedly happening. In last 2 days also, we have seen Meira IBs have come out in certain parts of Imphal. We have also heard about certain kinds of shooting in certain parts of hills as well. So I don't see any healing touch. The healing touch hasn't at all come through. So therefore, we need to soon bring people together on a discussion. The question of resolving political issues have to be kept a little away from this humanitarian crisis. We have to address the crisis on the ground in terms of providing appropriate relief and rehabilitations, which hasn't happened at all. So both the sides have a lot of scars, the wounds, the injuries. It is the scars and the injuries that are coming out repeatedly. And because there is so much of scar and there is absolutely no healing touch, so the efforts taken by the administration, the so-called governance institutions, are failing on an everyday basis. So this failure has to be recognized. And as Dr. Guite had said, we need a neutral agency whose presence is absolutely needed in Manipur. And there can be just bystanders. But central agencies are there, but they are not directed to play the role of a mediator. So the role of a mediator, an interlocutor from the central government is absolutely necessary. Instead, a blanket implementation of Article 355 is creating a different kind of a conflict, the conflict between the local people and the central forces, which is totally uncalled for. So
I think,
therefore, a
I think
proper
that's a
mediating
very
process has
important
to be,
point. That's a very
has to be
important
done.
point you have made, because that has not never been part of our discussion. Rohan, would you agree with that? Though a lot of people have commented it, but I think that's a new it is a completely new perspective given by Prasanjit ji.
Yeah. Yeah. Firstly, Kartik ji, I would like to thank you again for inviting me. Yes, this was one of.
Pleasure is
This
mine. I
is
always
not just
invite
one.
people, Rohan, who can have civil, courteous conversation with each other. So anyone who has the
Yes.
patience and time to talk about various aspects of Northeast is more than welcome on my show. And you know,
Thank you.
yesterday when I said I'll invite you and other people for Manipuri food, I got Twitter remarks on my tweet line. Did you mean Meitei food or Kuki food? I really didn't know how to respond to that. And people listed Kuki dishes. Someone listed Meitei dishes on my Twitter profile, and I just didn't know what to say, Rohan. Anyway,
Uh,
please go ahead.
yeah. So I was just very much agreeing with the both the speakers, like where they have listed a peace talk on that. And as per as to my knowledge, ethnically, we as a Meitei Christian, and again as a Meitei Christian, we are ethnically connected to the Meiteis also, and religiously also we have a lot of connections with the Kukis because we are related with the churches. And I'm so sorry to tell this, that we have been victims from both the side. And yesterday, from day before yesterday, I got a lot of backlash, special matter on reviving peace in Manipur and bringing in reconciliation in Manipur. And I think this is the need of the hour, sirs and ma'am, because keeping egos aside, if our Kuki brothers keeps on bringing up all the list of the violence done by Meiteis, we Meiteis also have a list of incidents and attacks and videos which are being done by the Kukis. But this will keep on continuing if we keep on with the perspective of both the sides. But rather than that, keeping aside all these things and egos aside, I think this is a need of the hour, saying that yes, we Manipuris and we Manipuris have suffered enough, and as a Manipuri and as a part of as a whole of Manipur, it is now time for we Kukis and we Meiteis have to come together. Let the Nagas also join the talks, and let the other communities also
Yes,
join
yes,
the talk. And it is time for a peaceful talk right now.
yes.
Let's see for a resolution. Let's see for a reconciliation. Let's keep aside all the egos. Let's keep everything aside. And I think this is the need of the hour. And Kartik ji, it would be a very blessed day for us also, that your platform being the first platform inviting us for this kind of talk, we would be really, really appreciating, to come and have a talk also. I'm ready for that. I'm 100% ready.
Oh, thank you so much.